2013. 800-444-2013.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling. Quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Go! Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan Tournament tailgate on 99.9 The Fan. This morning from 10 to noon, presented by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, Wake Med, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. There's been an argument going on in the past. This is what happens when games, right? Louisville and Duke, they both earned byes all the way till today in the ACC Tournament. Their fans have needed something to yell about. Coach of the Year turned into one of the arguments, right? ACC Coach of the Year went to Pat Kelsey. Mm-hmm. As I noted earlier, our very own friend of the show and our friend at Capital Broadcasting Company, WRAL's Chris Lee, has been involved in some debates on social media, which is always fun. About John Shire maybe getting snubbed for Coach of the Year for Louisville's Coach Pat Kelsey. Louisville plays today against Stanford. It is the 7:30 game, and in previewing that game, I have to give some kudos to Chris Lee and everybody on the John Shire side of that argument. Here's why. What is the argument against John Shire as Coach of the Year? Well, the roster's so good. There's so much talent. You're supposed to win. Yeah. When you're picked to win, how do you then get support for winning kind of deal?
Yeah, why should I reward you for doing the thing that you're supposed to do?
When Louisville, meanwhile, right, they've lost all of these games over the last 3 years, and he took a completely new roster and turned them into this second best team in the ACC. I think they did the exact same thing. I'm not saying this to be like facetious. Mm-hmm. I think what John Shire and Pat Kelsey did is almost identical, because we know the players that are good for Louisville. Chucky Hepburn won Defensive Player of the Year. They have a handful of others, and I started doing some more prep. Started looking at where they're going. Duke brought in like 10 new players. They all were established either at the high school or college level and assembled them. They're very talented players and they've played good basketball. Louisville, for some reason, is getting this credit for putting together a brand new team and turning them in as if they're some kind of like Mighty Ducks ragamuffin, assemble them and then coach them up. They're really good players, like really good players. Chucky Hepburn, I didn't realize this. His Wisconsin career is not like he went to Wisconsin and couldn't get in the rotation, so he hit the transfer portal. He scored 1,100 points and started every game of his career at Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, he's an all-Big Ten player.
He was an all-Big Ten defensive selection. So now he's the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. You think Pat Kelsey did that? Or do you think he showed up one of the best defenders in the country, and it makes sense to go from all Big Ten defensive team to Conference Defensive Player of the Year? Terrence Edwards. Guess what Terrence Edwards was? He was the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year at JMU last year. Javon Hadley averaged 12-6, 2.5, so 12.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.2 steals at Colorado. They won 2 NCAA tournament games. He was a starter in every game for them.
Yeah, they're a Sweet 16 team.
Kayshawn Pryor averaged 13 and 8 at South Florida. Noah Waterman is a sixth-year player who started every game at BYU last year. They made the tourney, and their coach got the Kentucky job off of the coaching. Who did Pat Kelsey make better this year? Like I'm looking around. Rain Smith led the College of Charleston in scoring. That's where Pat Kelsey was coaching. So I can guess you can give him credit for his contributions to Louisville. But I'm looking at this team. I'm not sure he did a ton. I don't even want to say more than Shire, but they both deserve credit for assembling the rosters. That's part of coaching. But as far as who's like getting the more out of their team, I don't know what's more difficult to coach, freshmen or guys that have been around for 4 years, because Pat Kelsey is just putting together a team of transfer all-stars, which is what he had to do at Louisville because they haven't been good recently. So then that all led me into, all right, Shire probably should have been coach of the year. I think Kelsey did a great job. I think a lot of the same arguments for Kelsey apply to Shire, and the only difference being Shire's team was better. There you go. They get to be coach of the year. But that leads me into this Louisville-Stanford game. Stanford has their work cut out for them tonight at 7:30 because everything I just said, Louisville's got a ton of really, really good dudes that have established themselves all over the country and then assembled in Louisville for this situation. This is not some scrappy upstart rags to riches bunch. This is, what the Yankees do after a bad season. They just go spend money and take the best players off a bunch of other teams and then act like they're the most improved team in the country. Louisville simply Yankeed themselves, which Louisville probably wouldn't appreciate, but it's that's what they did. They're a really good team because they're a really good assembly of players. With that being said, Stanford has Maxime Reynaud.
Yeah, they do.
Which, if Louisville knew how good Reynaud was, they'd probably make an offer he can't refuse, and he would have been on Louisville this year.
Possibly, very well could be.
No, Reynaud is a beast, and that's the upset possibility is I think Louisville may have, the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth best players in this game, but I think Stanford has the best player in this game, and that always gives you a chance in an opportunity like this.
It does. And back to your point about Pat Kelsey, this is not to knock on what he's done this year. Like, to turn that program around is a phenomenal thing. But like you said, it's no different than Shire going and getting Sion James. Then,
or Cooper Flagg for that. Like, assessing your roster, deciding what you need, and going to get it is impressive. It's just if you make that argument for Kelsey, which I think is the argument for how Louisville turned themselves around. Yeah, it's the same darn argument for Duke.
Yeah, but I think it really just comes down to what was the expectation. Here's
what it comes down to. What were we, meaning outsiders, most wrong about? Louisville should have been ranked higher preseason. They should have. It's obvious.
We just didn't know anything about their team.
We didn't know anything about them. We didn't know anything about Kelsey as a coach. We didn't know. We were probably brainwashed a little bit by the last 2 or 3 years of watching Louisville.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
And the thing was, we were wrong, right? To look at what they've done, how they've played, and where they came from, we should have, and when I say we, I mean everybody on the outside, the media that gets to vote in the preseason polls, the fans that set expectations, we were wrong, and now we're giving Pat Kelsey an award because we were most wrong about them, right? Like,
it's like us admitting, yep, that's on us.
It's like, sorry we voted you so low in the preseason polls. For that, we'll give you Coach of the Year. When in actuality, like, we should have just had them higher up, and then they wouldn't, they exceeded expectations. Well, the people that set the expectations were wrong, not the people that exceeded them doing some otherworldly job. Like I said, you can go through darn near everyone that contributes to their roster and find something they did really, really, really well last year in college basketball. It's like we should have expected them to play better than Isaiah Evans or Common Malawash making the jump from high school to the highest level of college basketball, power conference basketball. So like, all of this is basically to say Louisville is for real, right? This is not a great coaching job. To me, a great coaching job that would trump either Kelsey or Shire in Coach of the Year is taking a wildly untalented team and through smoke and mirrors and great coaching and great timeouts and like absurd fringe decisions, turning them into a team that wins a bunch. That is not Louisville. Right? Stanford is not going up against Louisville thinking, they're going to try to beat us with smoke and mirrors. Stanford's going up against Louisville thinking we're about to try to face a team that has a boatload of talent, similar to when you face UNC, Duke, or any of these teams that are always at the top of the recruiting rankings. That one is a fascinating beast to me because of Reno and Louisville just being that darn good. I think for the North Carolina teams, meaning the teams from the state of North Carolina that we cover, it's kind of a bummer they're on the same side of the bracket. Like, only one out of Duke, UNC, and Wake can possibly make it to the ACC championship game. And it would be electric for us to have them face against each other in an ACC championship game. But dodging Louisville, Stanford, Clemson until the ACC championship game at least, I think that is something that favors everyone on the other side of the bracket, because those teams are all exceptionally dangerous for different reasons. And those games, including SMU, I don't know why I left them out, including SMU, would be those 4 games are going to be interesting. Those late games are going to be fascinating. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is the Fan Tournament tailgate from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, where we're getting you ready for some ACC tournament action. We talked about those North Carolina teams on the other side of the bracket. Let's get back to that side of the bracket coming up next. Stick around.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's nonstop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before.
Oh, yeah! Big money!
Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Thanks. Got my seat cushion, crossword puzzle, and can't forget the hand sanitizer. Okay, show me the waiting room.
No need for all that. You can stay in your car.
I'll stay in my car. Get out.
Yep, you stay in. It'll just be 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Get out.
Go ahead, sit back and relax.
Well, I guess I'll save all this for the DMV. If only they took 10 minutes, am I right? I'm sorry.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
When you get the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime you work out. And now through March 13th, get your first month free when you join. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage. And do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 convenient locations. So, you coming? Get your first month free and all the perks with the PF Black Card for just $1 down, $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends March 13th. See Club for details.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish, and you can have them too.
Mix and match faves like a Filet-O-Fish, McCrispy, Spicy McCrispy, or 10-piece McNuggets. Now get any 2 for only $6. Prices and participation may vary. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
And at the other end, it's Knipple. Cross court, Evans, a ball fake, and another three. His third, and he's the first into double figures with 10.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan Tournament tailgate. This morning from 10 to noon, we are cruising through hour number 2 and cruising towards the afternoon games here in the Spectrum Center in Charlotte of the ACC Men's Basketball Tournament. As I said before the break, all 3 of the North Carolina teams remaining in the ACC Tournament are playing in this afternoon section. They're on the same side of the bracket. It's number 1 seeded Duke against 8 seeded Georgia Tech at noon. Number 4 seed Wake Forest against 5 seed UNC at 2:30. You can hear the Duke game, just a little programming news, the Duke Georgia Tech game on Buzz Sports Radio. Yep. You'll hear Adam Gold Show on 99.9 The Fan as usual. Immediately following the Adam Gold Show on 99.9 The Fan, we'll pick up in progress the Wake Forest North Carolina game broadcast. And then we, Dennis and I, will be back on 99.9 The Fan at the conclusion of that one, and we'll take you right up to the pregame show from ESPN coverage for the afternoon games. Now, looking at the Duke Georgia Tech / Wake Forest UNC side of the bracket, how much NCAA tournament impact will that have, Dennis, as our I don't want to call you a bracketologist, but
okay.
you definitely you study the bracketology. You're like a student of the bracketologist.
Yes.
You're a bracketology major.
Yeah.
What are the bracketologists saying?
Bracketology 312 is what we're actually. I'm sorry, 313 because that's today's date. So bracketology 313. Joe Lunardi, ESPN, updated his bracket late last night / early this morning after tournament games wrapped up yesterday. With the loss by Ohio State yesterday to Iowa, which I said was a game that UNC fans, if you needed to root for a team to lose, it was Ohio State. Ohio State dropped down to one of the first 4 teams out. North Carolina is now the last team in, based off Joe Lunardi's bracket yesterday. They are the last team in. Now, that doesn't guarantee they're going to make it, but as of right now.
Stop the count. Stop
Everyone,
the count.
Pause. No more games get played. So North Carolina, while they're playing against Wake Forest, obviously that win is going to help them because Wake Forest is also a team that's on the outside looking in, but a couple of big wins could help vault them up into the picture. So, loser leaves town match, Wake Forest versus North Carolina. Another game that UNC fans need to watch today, it's San Diego State taking on Boise State out in the Mountain West. Mountain West Conference, San Diego State is the 4 seed, Boise State is the 5 seed. Right now, according to Joe Lunardi's bracket, San Diego State is one of the last 4 teams in. One of the first 4 teams out is Boise State. So that's like a loser leaves town match as well. Something to keep an eye on. Right now, San Diego State is ahead of North Carolina in the latest bracket polls. Other games to watch at the same time as UNC tips off. Xavier takes on Marquette. If you're a UNC fan, you better be rooting hard for the Golden Eagles to take down Xavier, because Xavier is the first team right ahead of UNC. And also Indiana today at 5:30 takes on, at noon today. I take that back. At noon today, so tipping off here soon, Indiana takes on Oregon. Oregon is in the NCAA tournament. They're firmly in. Indiana, also one of the first 4 teams out. You got to be rooting for Paul Ihander's Oregon Ducks because you want the teams that are ahead of you to lose. You want the teams that are ahead of you to lose, and also one of the teams that's chasing you, Wake Forest, you can essentially eliminate them today with the win. Those are all things that if you're a North Carolina fan, you want to have happen today.
It's funny. Paul's probably right now going, always, you should always root for the Oregon Ducks. But right now, especially, the thing you have to build in, and I kind of tried to vocalize this yesterday, is unless you're going to win the ACC tournament, which if you win the ACC tournament, we all know what happens. You win any conference tournament, you punch your ticket, you're in. You don't have to sweat out Selection Sunday aside from, your seeding, your matchups, your bracket path. The thing you have to bake in to these on the bubble conversations, right? Last team in is unless you win your ACC championship, you have to bake in a loss is coming. Right. And if for every win you move up a couple slots, there's at least one where you move back if you're going to be on the bubble. Like I said, if you're going to win the ACC championship, then it doesn't matter where you're on the bubble. So who cares? But if you're not, which is where the bubble comes into play, right? Where are you? Are you in? Are you out? First 4 in, last 4 out, whatever it is. Then or last 4 in, first 4 out, did that in reverse. You have to bake in a loss, so you expect to move back a couple of spots. So like North Carolina is in now, right? According to Joe Lunardi's bracketology.
Last one in.
Last team in. If they win the rest of their games, they're just going to keep getting better on the bubble and they're going to be in, but that doesn't matter because they'd be guaranteed a spot.
Yep.
If they lose today, expect to fall back. If they lose tomorrow, expect to fall back. If they lose in the championship, expect to fall back, but you hope that you've built up enough over the next 3 days that the fall back doesn't hurt you.
And something to keep in mind as well is that there's always a team that can steal a bid. For example, you mentioned, hey, don't be shocked if Stanford all of a sudden with Max Reynaud could make a run here and steal the ACC title. If that happens, well, that takes away the last spot, which is where Carolina currently sits.
I just had a thought. Bracketology. This might be bracketology 101, right? This is the professor may look at me and go, good question, but heck no. If the ACC gods get to pick the winners from this point forward, we have an ACC championship of UNC against Stanford, which means along the way UNC beats Wake and beats Duke.
Assuming that Duke wins today.
Which
they should.
They get to the ACC championship game where it is really anyone. I picked Stanford because I like them as like a weird upset.
Sure.
But anyone, so it could be SMU or Stanford in the ACC championship against UNC. SMU or Stanford wins. Could we have 5 teams in the NCAA tournament?
That actually would be the way to get 5 in. That actually would be because
right. I mean, that's not what I'm rooting for, but I am a fan of 5 teams from the ACC making it.
Again, all depends on what happens with some of these other teams. That's something I'll keep in mind as well. Like, for example, what if Utah State loses or West Virginia, some of these other teams that are also in the bubble? What if they also lose? So if UNC gets a win today and tomorrow against Duke, I think they will have built up enough clout, especially getting that second quad 1 win, which is something they desperately need. If they get that second one, they might have enough clout built up where they're in no matter what happens in that ACC championship game.
I hate when like the name brands get the benefit of the doubt, except for when it benefits the teams that we cover and we want to do well. UNC just has to get close enough that the heel matters. Right, UNC just has to get close enough that their name brand can push them over the top, whether deserved or not. I think a win over Duke would do that, but again, have to focus on Wake Forest. We have a couple minutes here. We'll lock in on this game a little bit. Jalen Withers, let's talk about it. 7 threes yesterday. How the game goes today will be fascinating because what if Withers misses his first 2? Right, because the 7 he broke the record for most three-pointers made in a single game of the ACC tournament by a North Carolina Tar Heel.
Yeah.
Think of the shooters, right? Think of them all. And he made more threes in a single ACC tournament game than anyone that's ever worn that jersey, which is incredible. But also, it's unusual, right? He's not going to make 7 today, right? I don't know if a sports book is out there allowing it, but if I can bet against it, I will.
The likelihood is not very high.
A career day happens once in a career. So how do you move forward if you're right? Because I'll tell you right now, and we'll be out there sitting courtside. The first 3 he puts up, you'll hear me. I'll go, right? Because it's like, has he maintained the hot hand? Is he still on fire? And if it goes in, great, good vibes, they'll roll. If not, though, what do they do next? Because I still think Jalen Withers needs to shoot. Whether they're going in at a high clip or not, I think his spacing is important, and he's shown to be a knockdown shooter. He'll get the respect of the defense. What does Hubert Davis do if, they start the day 1 of 8 from 3? What does happen? What happens then? Because yesterday they didn't have to get to plan B.
No, they didn't.
Right? The one of the first possessions, drive kick, Drake Powell, 6'6", super athletic freshman, cash. We were out there, like, this is a perfect way to describe it. We went on air at 3 here in our dungeon room underneath the Spectrum Center. So we got to watch the 2:30 start for UNC, which was really like 2:40. And so we watched like 15 minutes of the game. I saw Jalen Withers hit 3 threes.
Yep.
I saw Elliot Cadeau hit a 3 and talk some trash. I saw Drake Powell hit a 3, and that was all in the first 15 minutes before we had to come down here and watch on the live video.
Yeah, right in front of where we were sitting, too.
So I want to see what UNC does if they don't start like a rocket out of a cannon.
I know we got to get to break. We'll probably talk about this in a little bit on the other side, but it's all about getting to the paint. It's all about getting inside the paint for North Carolina.
There it is from Dennis Cox. And from Charlotte, this is the Fan Tournament Tailgate. We'll have more. We'll look towards the game coming up here in about a half hour. The Duke game against Georgia Tech. We dive back into that one coming up.
Strawberries and springtime go hand in hand. Now at Hardee's, they come together with a hint of lemon in our famous buttermilk biscuits. Introducing Hardee's Strawberry Lemon Biscuits, loaded with berry goodness and drizzled in icing. Served warm from sunrise to supper time. The perfect taste to bring on the sunshine all day long. But hurry, this special strawberry lemon flavor is as fleeting as springtime itself. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Available for a limited time. Exclusions may apply by time of day.
Which of us, detective, do you suspect is the millionaire?
The evidence is everywhere. Your diamond necklace, Monty's new yacht, and the butler's new convertible. Admit it, you're all Maximilian scratch-off winners.
Of course we are. With 25 prizes of $1 million, you could be too.
New Maximilian from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring, the perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
At Wells Fargo, we know what got you into your business. Whether it's manufacturing, running a restaurant, or your business from home. What you didn't get into your business for was banking. But luckily, Wells Fargo offers business checking, payments, and lending all in one place, in your neighborhood and on our app, so you can focus on doing what you love. Wells Fargo, you're good at business, we're good at business banking. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/business. Terms apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Hey, it's Adam from Counting Crows, and we were going to hire a typical loud radio guy to tell you about the summer's Complete Suites tour, but I wanted to just invite you myself.
Guess I should.
Old songs, new songs. We'll be joined by our friends, the Gaslight Anthem. It's a summer butter miracle. Come and hang with us. Okay, your turn now.
July 17th, Red Hat Amphitheater, Raleigh. Tickets on sale Friday at livenation.com. Presented by Live Nation.
Smart homes, virtual assistants, and AI. Imagine what the next 10 years will bring. At Lumos, we have. With 100% fiber internet built for the future, you're ready for whatever comes next. Plans start at $50 per month. Learn more at lumosfiber.com/next.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Evans has it. He'll launch and hit! Showtime Slim takes the lead to 13.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Fan Tournament Tailgate on 99.9 The Fan is presented by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, Wake Med Roof Works, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. Duke versus Georgia Tech coming up here in about a half hour. It is Duke's debut in this year's ACC Tournament. We talked earlier about some of the lessons learned maybe from Duke as a program from last season, where they were one and done in the ACC tournament, showed up, lost, sent home. Georgia Tech is an interesting one for today, and here's why. I am in the process of reading, and shout out to David Hale, ESPN ACC reporter. He wrote a long article that is all about Cooper Flagg, and it is, if you're a Duke fan, what you are looking for it's myth making, right? It's all of the stories about a second grader playing against fifth graders and dominating, and the opposing parents yelling and screaming, I want to see his birth certificate, and that only made him more mad. And right, they debate in the article, this is not a joke, they debate in the article when he first started dunking. They debated whether it was sixth grade, seventh grade. Everyone was pretty sure that by eighth grade, he was putting on dunking shows and warm-ups, so much so that the other team would stop warming up and go up to half court and watch. It is a myth-making story, which, by the way, earned. Okay, I'm not here to say that what Cooper Flagg's doing isn't impressive. I called him the best player in college basketball before he set foot onto the court. I picked Duke to win the national championship before the season. I have those receipts. You can go check them out on our podcast on our YouTube. So I'm not saying I'm not a believer. What I am saying is, as a former athlete, that would put a target on his back. And there's no doubt in my mind Georgia Tech is doing the same thing. Okay? Georgia Tech's not as good a basketball team as Duke. I don't think any of us are here to argue it is. But I do know Georgia Tech has a little panache to them, right? They have four guys all averaging between 11.5 points and 14.5 points. All of those guys are shooting, those four are shooting between 33 and 37% from three. So they if one of them gets hot and the game stays close, it's interesting. But the name I want to focus on is Bai Dongo. Bai Dongo for Georgia Tech, sophomore, is wildly athletic, and I want to actually make sure I don't mess up his measurables. Okay, Bai Dongo for Georgia Tech, as I bring up his little player card here, is listed at 6'9", 240. Okay, Cooper Flagg for Duke on ESPN, I'm going to go to the exact same place, is listed at 6'9", 205. Both can leap. Yesterday, during the Georgia Tech game, sitting courtside, it was right in front of me. Ball bounces off the rim, missed shot by one of his teammates. Dongo came flying out of nowhere, one hand, grabs it, slams it home. It is the type of play that any athlete has said it would be wildly cool to be able to do that. Cooper Flagg has made a bunch of those plays this year as well. If I am Damon Stoudemire, head coach of Georgia Tech, I'm taking Dongo into a coach's office, right? Away from the locker room, coach's office, and I'm giving him the pep talk that coaches have been giving everyone that's played Cooper Flagg, if you read this article, since he was about 6 years old. You want to make a name for yourself, that's the guy to do it, right? You want to play in the NBA, that's the matchup. You want to show how athletic you are, show it against him. And if you do that, people will notice, right? If you thought you focused when you were playing against Virginia, right? If you thought you were locked in when you were playing against Boston College in the regular season, times it by 10, right? And by the way, Duke is used to this, right? By the way, John Shire played for Duke. You understand when you are the number one ranked team in the country, which they are right now, and you are the number one team in the ACC, and you have the projected number one pick, you're going to get everybody's best shot. And then you throw on some of this myth making, right? You throw on some of this over the top, Paul Bunyan-esque, I saw him dunk in 6th grade, and meanwhile his mom in the article is going, nah, he was barely grabbing rim in 6th grade, right? As the myths keep growing, the target's going to keep getting larger. Up to this point, he's been able to handle all shots against him, all arrows against him, but if and it's such a small percentage, right? We're going to make our picks to close out the fan tournament tailgate for each of the 4 games, or at least each of the 2 early games, and make predictions about how they're going to go. I'm not hiding it. I'm going to pick Duke, and I'm going to give the points, however many points you want to give. But if I'm Damon Stoudemire, I'm calling up Dongo, and I'm just simply saying, you've got it's not even a marlin. You've got like a humpback whale on the line here, right? If you want to be legendary, get it in the boat. Chances are Cooper Flagg's going to snap the line, right?
Right.
Chances are he's going to dunk, he's going to block shots, he's going to score points, he's going to be the best player on the floor. But if Dongo can slow him down, that's how you make yourself into an NBA prospect. I love a good sports movie reference. Graham, yeah, I know you back in the studio. I love a good sports movie reference. There's a scene in Coach Carter where they're playing again. For those who haven't seen Coach Carter, Ty Crane, I think he's modeled after LeBron, a high school player. Ty Crane is supposed to be like the best high school recruit of all time. And
there's only one Ty Crane.
Exactly. And they're playing against him in a big game. And the Coach Carter, played by Samuel L. Jackson, gives detailed advice or coaching to 4 out of the 5 guys on the court, right? When you get in transition, shoot that jumper you love so much. When we get into the offense, I need you to initiate it and look down low. Gives specific coaching to each player. And then he gets to the player who's guarding Ty Crane, and he just goes, hold on to that monster. And he, ready, break. That was all he could give him, was just keep doing what you're doing. Hold on to that monster. I know it's not easy. That's part of the way I would look at Dongo today, right? I'm looking at Lance Terry, and I'm saying, hey, I need you to hit threes. I need you to stretch the offense. I need you to make things happen. I'm looking at Duncan Powell. Duncan Powell's, he's got a unique haircut. He's got a unique personality for Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at him and going don't back down from anybody. I need you to be physical. I'm looking at Dongo and going, hold on to that monster.
Right.
Do what you can. We'll figure it out later. That is a huge opportunity for Georgia Tech. So the target on Duke, it's only going to grow, as it always does kind of at this time of year. But when you mix in the myth making that is coming with Cooper Flagg, it's times 10. Maybe times 20, maybe times 30. I could go on.
I mean, yeah, exactly. When someone gets labeled generational talent, and he's played, I would say probably for a college freshman who's supposed to be a high school senior, has probably played to the expectations that people had set, which is a super high bar, mm-hmm. and a stupid high bar. It's
super stupid.
It's super stupid high bar, but he's met it.
Mm-hmm.
He's met, and every single challenge that's been put in front of him, he's been up to that challenge. And guess what? now the challenge is on Georgia Tech. It's like you also can't create like the mythical beast in your mind when you watch him as well. Like, yeah, no, that guy's also human too.
Ace Flag, his twin brother, who just won the high school North Carolina State Championship with, I believe, Greensboro Day.
Mm-hmm.
He was quoted in the article that I'm halfway through reading, saying like the teams when they were growing up actually started learning. You don't push him. You go like, "Hey man, nice shot." After shots, because you
do the old compliment.
Because he's somebody that feeds off of the negativity. I don't know if I would go that far. I'm not like high fiving him after buckets, but you got to recognize the opportunity, right? It's the same thing that Duke is for everybody else from a net ranking standpoint. It's the trophy fish that can change your season. It's also the trophy fish for Baidongo or whoever ends up matched up with them can change the trajectory of your career as a prospect for the next level and you know your prospect for the next year. It is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, here on the Fan Tournament Tailgate, which is presented by Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, Wake Med, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. We are nearing the end of our Fan Tournament Tailgate, leading you up to the ACC Tournament here in Charlotte. All we have to do is make our picks, and we will do just that. Coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's hockey season, baby. I live and work on both coasts, and here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and $6 Jamesons on Sunday. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling, we do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling, quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Ola Joseph lobs it back up top, stolen by Cooper. A race to the other end, get ready for the show! A reverse pull-up! My goodness! And the lead grows to 26, and Cal wants a timeout.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan Tournament Tailgate on 99.9 The Fan gets you ready for the ACC Tournament. We're live from Charlotte inside the Spectrum Center. We are down in like the doldrums. We are in the dungeon underneath the Spectrum Center. We have a few more minutes here to make some picks before we get out courtside to watch the Duke Georgia Tech game.
Right down the hall.
On 99.9 The Fan, we'll be turning things over to Adam Gold, the Adam Gold Show that you traditionally hear. The Duke game will be heard on our sister station, Buzz Sports Radio.
Graham, I know you know all the places where people can listen to Buzz Sports Radio. Give the rundown for the people real fast, where they can find Buzz Sports Radio if they want to catch out Duke taking on Georgia Tech.
Yes, as you now see Adam Gold in our studio preparing for his show, 99.9 FM HD2.
Hey, there he is.
620 AM Buzz Sports Radio. I think that's about it. WRLSportsFan.com. Those are all the places that you need to go in order to find the Blue Devil Sports Network from Learfield for the upcoming call between Duke and Georgia Tech at high noon.
There it is.
All right. Dennis and I will be back on air here on 99.9 The Fan following the UNC broadcast against Wake Forest, which will be picked up in progress after the Adam Gold Show. So we'll save our nighttime picks, the Louisville, Stanford, Clemson, SMU game for our show between those two groups or pairs of games at the ACC tournament. But we will make picks for number 1 Duke versus number 8 Georgia Tech. To set it up, Georgia Tech, in order to play in this game, had to beat UVA. They did so yesterday, 66-60. UVA fought to the end, but Georgia Tech was in control for that game, the last meaningful minutes of the game. And Duke obviously had the bye. Dennis, we'll start with you.
Okay.
Go ahead, give us some predictions, and if possible, don't just say Duke wins. Give us some specifics. Or Georgia Tech wins, right? I don't care which side you go, but give us some specifics in how do you see this one playing out, and who is the key player?
By the way, Duke is 22.5-point favorites in this one.
Which sounds crazy until you realize in most of their ACC games they've been 15-plus favorites.
Yeah.
And multiple times this year, 20-plus. So it's not that unusual in the ACC for Duke to have that kind of a leeway.
I think the key person, I think is my key person for Duke in this tournament. I think that can really elevate their play and really elevate the team as a whole. If this person gets hot going into the NCAA tournament, for me, it's actually Con Knippel. Because we know what Cooper Flagg can do. It's set that conversation aside. We literally just had it.
Yep.
We literally just had it. But this guy can do a little bit of everything too. He can handle the ball off the dribble if he wants to get inside the paint. We've actually seen him and Cooper Flagg do a lot of pick and roll at different times during the season. He can come off the dribble, get into the paint, create his own shot. He can work off ball to catch and shoot from the outside. He's a big guy too. He stands at 6'6", 6'7". He's a bigger guy that can defend as well. He can make good decisions in transition. Again, his versatility and what he brings, the fact that he has multiple tools in his toolkit, if he elevates his play, because so much attention is going to go to Cooper Flagg, so much attention down low is going to be, lobs potentially to Kama Malawash. He's a guy that sometimes almost gets forgotten a little bit. When you think about Duke, he almost gets forgotten a little bit. To me, if Con Knippel comes out firing, comes out strong, and has a 15-point game, this Duke team wins by 25.
This is purely tempo-based, not quality. I'm not comparing the two. He has a hint of Luka Doncic in his game.
A little bit.
In that, he drives 25 miles an hour on the highway, and people are like, what are you doing? Everyone's going 80. And he's like, yeah, but I drive 25 miles an hour. I'm not going to let you speed me up. I'm at my own pace here. if he gets in front of you, he just is likely to like burst towards the bucket. He's likely to like slow down and stick his butt out into you and control the pace and judge everything. He's a really unique playmaker, especially when he's not looking for his own shot. So I'm with you on Con Knippel being a key player. Did you make a pick there, or did you just talk about Con Knippel a bunch?
Well, I said if he has a 15-point game, Duke wins by 25. I think he has a 15-point game, and Duke wins by 25.
All right. Yeah, I'm taking Duke. I'm giving the points. I would give more. Although I'm like, as far as a key player to watch, and this is a guy that's just grown on me all year, Isaiah Evans.
Yeah. You're a big fan of his.
But I feel like I bought Google stock at like a nickel.
Yeah, you did.
When he was not in the rotation, I was going, I don't know why. Every time he's in, he knocks down a three. And then he just grew and grew and grew. And eventually now he's one of the best shooters in the league. Some NBA people are saying he could be a first-round pick if he came out this year. But here's why. I think atmosphere matters for him. Mm-hmm. He's somebody that he's a North Carolina kid, first of all. If he scores and hears a pop, I don't know, it's something about him. Like it's the shark from Finding Nemo sniffing blood. It's like, all right, let's go. Mm-hmm. Fish are our friends, not food. And then he hits a three and he's like, never mind, I want to kill him. Give me the ball. I want 8 shots. So I'm looking for Isaiah. One of these games in the ACC tournament is going to be an Isaiah Evans game. Yeah. I don't know which one. One of them is, and if it's tonight or if it's this afternoon, they win by a whole bunch. I think they win by a whole bunch regardless. So give me Duke, give the points over Georgia Tech. Then the most interesting game of the year, of the day. Wake Forest, 4 seed. They earned their way by into Thursday. UNC earned their way with a win over Notre Dame yesterday. Who do you have in this one? How do you see it playing out?
This one actually might be a little bit tighter than I think people might think, at least early on. I think Wake Forest understands what's at stake for them and well-rested, ready to go. Mm-hmm. And they just came off a big 20-plus point win against Georgia Tech at home to round out their season this past Saturday. North Carolina is actually favored by 5.5 points in this game. And I was trying to think of like, all right, well, who's that guy that, again, we always talk about, okay, RJ Davis, we know what Jalen Withers is doing. Like, who's that other guy that might fly under the radar a little bit, or maybe we don't talk about enough? It's Van Allen Lubin. Mm-hmm. Like, it's interesting. It's like Van Allen Lubin. It's like, wait, you look at the box score at the end of the day, like, oh, there's 17-10. There's 15-9. Like, there's 16.
Even if it's
8,
11-10, like that's important. Yeah.
Because we talk about, I mentioned it before, and talking to guys in the locker room, talk to RJ Davis and others, Ian Jackson, about why is it so important? Yes, we talk about your outside shooting and what Withers is doing and whatever else is doing and knocking down threes. But where does it all start? It all starts with getting in the paint. If RJ Davis and Kondo can get in the paint and the defense collapses, that's when they're able to kick out and they move the ball around, they get those open looks. But the defense is so worried about the outside shooter. Well, who's there to clean up? Will that help where the low post defender helps to the ball? There's no weak side help. Who's there to clean up? It's Van Allen Lubin. If he gets the ball inside the restricted area, that little half arc, that's the half circle that's underneath the rim, if he gets the ball there, he's scoring like 80% of the time, probably. Like I've got my money on him making that shot. That's where the threat of him just being able to just clean up and being the factor of like, you know what? If you don't respect me in here, I'm gonna make your life miserable. But if you collapse on me, it opens things up for other guys.
He is an undersized big, so I'm interested to see what Efton Reed can do for that efficiency inside the restricted area, because 6'8" and 7 foot are two very, very different heights.
Last I checked,
for a post player. So you're on UNC because of Van Allen Lubin?
I think the way North Carolina has been playing, even though they lost to Duke recently, I still think over the last 7-8 games they've just been playing so well. I'm going to take North Carolina in this one, but I think it's going to be a close one. It might be a little bit more low scoring. I'm going to say North Carolina wins this one 73-65.
I'm going maybe I'm showing like my type here. I'm going with another super talented freshman. Ian Jackson.
Yeah,
he's been quiet as of late, coming off the bench, but like at a certain level, that talent is undeniable.
It's there.
I think there's an opportunity for him to have a big game off the bench, and he's a shooter too. People don't give him all the credit in the world for the shooting ability. I think 5 is probably a fair number for me. I think UNC should be favored. I think they've been playing better basketball as of late. If you go back to when they both had 6-7 games left in the regular season. Wake Forest was the better team. they stumbled down the stretch, and UNC grew down the stretch and played better. So because of that, I think it's a form thing, right? Who's peaking at the right time? Who's playing better at the right time?
Mm-hmm.
I think UNC is doing that. So despite the fact that they won yesterday and they're playing in back-to-back days, and nobody in this tournament yet has won 2 games, right? Everybody that won on Tuesday lost on Wednesday. I think UNC is the first to pull it off. I think they win. Win by 5 or 6 points, probably in the 70-65 range is what I'm looking for UNC.
And North Carolina yesterday only had one guy play more than 30 minutes, and that was R.J. Davis. He played 31 minutes and 25 seconds yesterday. Everyone else was below 30 minutes, which is a big thing.
And R.J. Davis is one of those guys. He's a hooper.
Yeah,
he could play 40 minutes and be all good.
Yeah.
Although we did cramp a little bit in the Duke game, so maybe there's that going on. Thank you to Graham back at the studio for keeping us up and running. Thank you to the presenters of our tournament tailgate here on 99.9 The Fan. That's Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fairway Green, First Horizon Bank, Wake Med, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. We're going to pass 99.9 The Fan off to our very own Adam Gold. What's going on, Adam? You can catch on Buzz Sports Radio the Duke Georgia Tech game. We're going to go look for us on the bench, or not the bench, on the side there. We're going to go watch the game. We'll be back later. Have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Attention watch enthusiasts and collectors. Bailey's Fine Jewelry invites you to an exclusive pre-owned Rolex event happening for 2 days only, March 21st and 22nd at their Village District location in Raleigh. Discover North Carolina's largest selection of vintage